Hi all, welcome to today's session. So today we'll be discussing on the topic risk management. So let us have a brief introduction about what is meant by risk management. So in the risk management in information security is a critical aspect of ensuring confidentiality, integrity, and availability of an organization information asset. It involves identifying, assessing, prioritizing and mitigating risk to protect sensitive data and prevent security breaches. So effective risk management helps organization proactively address the threats and minimize the potential impact of security incidents. So next one is risk identification. The first step of risk management is the risk identification. So this involves the recognition of potential threats and vulnerabilities that could affect the security of the organization information asset. So the risk may include external threats such as cyber attacks, malware, and phishing, as well as the internal risk like unauthorized access, human error, and system failures. As an example for this risk identification, a company identifies a phishing email and weak employee password as a potential risk to its corporate network. And the next one is risk assessment. One risk are identified, they need to be assessed in terms of their livelihood and potential impact on the organization information asset. So this tips helps prioritize a risk based on their severity and the probability they will occur. As an example, in a hospital scenario, the hospital assesses the risk of the ransomware attack so as both high livelihood and high impact, making it a top priority for mitigation. And the next one is risk analysis. So, risk analysis involves analyzing the identified risk to determine their potential consequences and the effectiveness of the existing controls in mitigating those risks. So, this steps helps organization to understand the potential loss associated with each risk and aids in decision making regarding the risk treatment. As an example, an e-commerce company analyzes the risk of the data breaches and determines the stronger encryption is needed for the consumer data. And the next one is risk treatment. After analyzing the risk, organization need to develop and implement the strategies to treat or mitigate the identified risk. So the risk treatment option may include risk avoidance, risk reduction, risk transfer, or risk acceptance. So the goal is to reduce the livelihood and impact of the impact identified risk to an acceptable level. As an example, a retailer purchases a cyber insurance, that is the risk transfer, and implements a two-factor authentication. We call it as risk reduction for employee logins. And the next one is risk monitor and review. So risk management is an ongoing process and it is essential to continuously monitor and review the effectiveness of risk mitigation measures. So this involves regularly assessing the changing threat landscape, evaluating the effectiveness of the existing control, and making adjustment to risk management strategies as necessary. As an example for this monitoring and review, a bank conducts a quarterly security assessment and updates its control based on the latest threat intelligence. And the next one would be documentation and communication. Proper documentation of the risk management process is crucial for maintaining transparency and accountability within the organization. So, this includes the document risk assessment finding, risk treatment plans, and the decision made regarding the risk management. Effective communication ensures that the stakeholders are aware of potential threats and their respective roles in mitigating those risks. As an example, so for this documentation and communication, a company maintains a risk register that is reviewed during the management meeting and shared with stakeholders. And next, continuing to this is compliance and governance. Organization must ensure their risk management practices, comply with the relevant laws and regulation and the industry standards governing information security. So this involves establishing a robust governance frameworks and incorporating a risk management into the organization's overall governance structure. So, as an example for this compliance and governance, a health provider aligns its risk management with HIPAA regulations to ensure a legal compliance and protect patients' data. And next one is training and awareness. So employees are often the weakness link in the organization security posture. Providing a regular training and awareness program on information security best practices and the importance of risk management is crucial in mitigating human related risk. As an example, a company runs the phishing awareness campaigns and requires all the staff to complete the annual security training. So, as a summary, to summarize this risk management in the information security, which involves a cycle of identifying, assessing, analyzing, treating, monitoring, and communicating risk. So, by following these steps, organization can protect their information and assets and maintain a strong security posture within the organization. So, the effective risk management is not a one time task, but an ongoing process that adapts to your new threats and changes in the organization. So, regular reviews, documentation, and staff training are essential components of a successful risk management strategy. So, this is the end of this today's topic. I'll meet you in another new topic. Thank you all. Thank you for listening.